A person may appeal their conviction if they believe they were unfairly convicted based on factual evidence. Here's how some innocent convicts got out of false accusations imposed on them. This is Davontae Sanford, who in 2007 was sentenced to 37 to 90 years in prison. He was only 14 when he was arrested.
Davontae was just 14 years old when he pleaded guilty to killing 4 people.
He walked just 4 blocks from a crime scene involving 4 people and an AK-47 assault rifle. He was taken into custody and the police forced him into a false confession. Even his lawyer did not help him by convincing him to enter a guilty plea. His current lawyer stated that the police fabricated all the evidence to convict him. It seemed as if there was no way out for him. There was a twist in the story 3 weeks later. A man named Vincent Smothers was arrested for 12 murders, 4 of which turned out to be the ones for which Sanford was convicted. A never-ending and torturous appeals process later, the man went from being a convicted murderer to being falsely accused in the eyes of the legal system. Sanford, who received a sentence of 37 to 90 years in prison, was not involved in the killings, according to a detailed affidavit provided to authorities in March 2015 by Smothers, who was allegedly in jail for prior murders.
Just 2 weeks and 2 days after his conviction, Vincent Smothers, a professional hitman, said he was the one responsible for those murders on Runyon Street.
The case was reopened, and after 9 years, Sanford was a free man. Sanford had a lot of support from his family and friends. However, the man he thanked the most was Smothers for taking charge of the murders and saving him.
This is Davontae Sanford's walk of freedom after spending almost 9 years behind bars for crimes he didn't commit.
However, spending years in prison took a toll on Sanford. He found it hard to live within the norms of society. In 2018, he was arrested again for assault. This is Ralph Lee, convicted for the murder of Tito Marino in 2008. 22-year-old Marino was found dead in a video store where he worked. It was a gruesome death by stabbing. Lee had no connection to the crime. The whole story was framed by the police using coercion and a sketchy eyewitness. Lee was taken into custody along with Eric Kelly. There were separate trials for both Lee and his partner Eric Kelly. They used the information provided by Kelly to make Lee confess. They then used the statements against Lee to convict him. Initially, Ralph denied any involvement in the crime, and Stell was prepared to let go of him when Detective Reyes notified Stell that Kelly had confessed and named Ralph Lee as an accomplice. After reading Ralph his Miranda rights and placing him under custody, the detectives allegedly began giving him tidbits of knowledge about the crime to convince Ralph that he was a part of the crime, eventually making him confess.
Therefore, in light of the foregoing reasons, the motion for new trial as to both defendants, Ralph Lee and Eric Kelly, is hereby granted.
The interrogations were not recorded, and the detectives took no notes. The Innocence Project got involved in this case later, and Lee felt a ray of hope. Lee was released after 11 years. He was finally free. Kelly was freed much later, after 24 years, when new DNA evidence was presented. The evidence matched a man who was reported a suspect by a victim at the time of the crime.
One day at a time, you know what I'm saying? Just live, you know, moment. So I'm feeling real good right now.
I'm not saying I'm happy or sad when I am just saying that I made a decision based upon what I believe to be the correct decision.
All charges were finally removed from Lee and Kelly. Lee subsequently filed a lawsuit in the Superior Court. He got a compensation for $1 million. And with this, we've come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.